Okay. Hey, James, how are you? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm good. I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me back. It's been a
Oh,
little while.
my pleasure. Yeah, we looked it up. It was May of 2021, so it's been a year and a half since you've been on.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have happened. I think we finally got rid of COVID. So that was still going on when you were on, yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was still hot and heavy when I was here.
Yeah. And we talked a little
I
bit.
did good in COVID. I did good. I got out a bunch of books in COVID, so I'm not too sorry.
Okay, you didn't.
I'm not sorry to see it go. Let me put it that way. I'm not sorry to see it go.
Well, I don't think anyone's sorry to see it go. You didn't get COVID, did you?
Oh, I had it twice, I think. I had it before they had out any of the shots, and then I got the shots. And I think I might have had it again after I got the shot. But I had like both shots and then a couple of booster shots. So hey, I'm fine. I didn't have it that bad when I got it the first time either.
What were your symptoms? I mean, how did you think you might have had it?
I really didn't have that much symptoms, but other people around me were having symptoms and worse than I was. So I said, I better go get tested and see. And sure enough, yeah, I had it. So it was like, okay, when it enters your household, then you're going to pretty much you could pretty much figure out you got it too. It's like the cold, it goes around. Everybody's going to catch it.
But you didn't have serious symptoms. You didn't end up in the hospital or anything, right?
Oh no, no, no! I barely knew I had it. When I had it, I was just with like a regular cold.
Well, I'm happy it wasn't serious. And yes, I'm happy it's definitely out of our way and gone now. I remember the last time you were on, and I can just barely see it on the left side of my screen, your Led Zeppelin poster.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, still have the old Led Zepp up there. It's
there it
still
is.
flying high. There you
There it
go.
is. That's from Led Zeppelin 1, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the Hindenburg. Yeah,
right, right. Okay. All right,
yeah.
great, great album. Super album.
Oh yeah.
Let's just reintroduce you to our audience for people who may have not seen the first interview you did. So you are an author, and you also own a publishing company called RockHill
Still
Publishing,
publishing.
right?
Yeah, still publishing.
Okay, how many authors do you have signed to your publishing company?
Think right now we're sitting just about 10, 9 or 10. So
Okay.
yeah.
Can you give a kind of a brief description of what sort of services you offer for the authors?
Okay, I'm an independent publisher, so I operate just like the big boys. I just don't have the big boy money. Uh, so yeah, so I do. So we do everything. We do editing. We do the book covers. We do the printing and the promotions, and everything you would expect one of the big five to do. Just don't expect advances. You know, we're not handing out money. So other than that, we're your man if you need something. Uh, I do romance, sci-fi, fantasy, and adult fiction. So I don't do like poetry and I don't do children novel. I got one person, GC Rosenquist, who actually wrote something uh, of a middle grade type of story called Uncle's Wiggler's Galactic Circus or Circuit Galactica. So that's more of a middle grade type of book. So I do, vary sometimes depending upon, if the book is really good, I'll publish it. I just don't publish poetry too much because I haven't written poetry in such a long time and I wouldn't know if it was good or bad. So I try to stick with what I know.
What about nonfiction like political or biographies or things like that? Do you do those?
I try to stay away from that kind of stuff too because with nonfiction, you have to do a lot of research to make sure that what your author is telling you can actually be verified. So then that becomes, one more avenue I have to go down to verify. Even when someone does a biography, you know, it's kind of like their view of what happened, but you also want to make sure that what they're saying is at least somehow verifiably true. So, you don't want to get into that murky water where they call somebody or they say something about somebody and you can't substantiate it at all. Never happened, or, So I try to stay away from biography. Now, if someone comes to me with a really good biographical story and they can say, well, these are my research and this is how I, back this up, then I'll be interested in doing it. But basically, I try to stick to somewhat what I know, what my editors know, something that we can really get behind and give you a professional, a full professional, I don't know how to say this, but, our help in producing your book. I wouldn't go to my dentist and have him do heart surgery. Okay. I would stick with the heart surgeon if I was having a heart attack, that kind of thing. Same way I wouldn't go to my heart surgeon and expect him to pull my tooth. So,
Well, that's a
you
good
don't want to go
point.
too
Yeah.
far afield. Yeah.
It's a good point, and it's also a good point in the sense that if you did publish something nonfiction and the people, whoever the biography was written about, I mean, you could be sued if it was not done right, if they lied about it or made things up about that person, right?
Yeah. And you usually indemnify yourself as a publisher, but still, you're going to be dragged into court, even if you are indemnified, because in the publishing contract, there's all these indemnity clauses saying, well, if you lied to me, then that's on you. But then, the other person, the attorney will say, yeah, but you still had to do your due diligence. You just can't say, well, he told me. That's not going to fly.
Let me ask you just a little something about the process, and then we'll pivot over to your latest book. So, if I wrote a book and it fit into your genre, and I submitted it to you and said, hey, I'd like you to publish it, do you provide services like a la carte type services? Is that kind of how you do it? Do you say, well, what do you need? Do you need editing, or do you need a cover, or how does it work?
No, we provide all the services. We don't charge you for anything. It's not like I'm going to charge you for editing or charge you for the cover design. We'll take care of all of it. We accept your book for publication. We're going to go through everything. We're going to work with you on putting it together. It usually falls to the publisher to do the cover work and all that kind of stuff. But if you had like a great cover design done, then we would use that. The editing, of course, will run through our editors, and and we will work with you on that. Sometimes content editing gets a little sticky. People say, well, no, I want that in there. And you say, well, it doesn't really fit the story, that kind of thing. So it's a collaboration between your publisher and the author. No one ever gets in there and just says, hey, this is my book, bam, slap it on your desk and publish it. Don't change a word, just publish it. Because if you want that kind of publishing, that's called self-publishing. You go ahead and do that yourself.
Okay, that's
Then
a good
can wear
point.
all the hats.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't charge people so you just take a percentage of sales.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
I would assume then that you would have to read the book prior to accepting it and decide whether or not it makes the grade for you, right?
Yes. And we read the book. Once we read, well, we get a submission. We put together a submission package. So you send us 4 chapters, the first 2, 1 in the middle, and the end. We get your synopsis and we get your character list. So we go through that first. And if it's something that falls into our wheelhouse that we think we can do a good job with, we'll tell you to send us your manuscript. Then we read the entire manuscript. And then we say yes or no based on that. But we also give you a review of the manuscript. We tell you where your weak points are, where your strong points are. Even if we're not going to accept it, we still give you a full review of your manuscript, let you know why we didn't accept it if we don't, what your weak points were, what the strong points were, what you what we feel you need to do to fix it. And if we really like the story, we'll tell you, fix these points and send it back to us. If it's something that's far outside of our wheelhouse or something like that, then we'll say, well, these are what we see, and please take it to somebody else.
Is there one particular thing that you've seen submitted over and over that just is always kind of an automatic rejection, that first-time authors maybe make this mistake over and over? Is there one particular thing that you see?
Usually, they don't really have a story to tell. They have a series of events. And what I mean by that is, some people don't understand the idea of a story is there has to be a journey. There has to be something at the end. There has to be some consequences to the actions. And so when you're telling the story, you're trying to relate that to your audience, to your readers. If you're just telling me about how you went down to the store, bought a quart of milk and walked back to your house, that's not really a story. If you tell me how you went down to the store, you seen a break-in, you went in to investigate the break-in, and then you found this, that, and the other thing, and blah, blah, blah. Now that becomes a story. What happened to you while you was on the trip to the store? How did that affect you? That kind of thing, But so that's something that you find that people don't really know how to tell a story. They just string together all these events without really telling you how those events affected the character. Where did the character grow from going through these events? You have the idea of the hero's journey. There has to be some sort of arc that the person starts off at point A, goes through all these things, and by point Z, he had gained some knowledge of himself, of the world, of something. You just don't go through life and learn nothing. I hope you don't anyway.
Well, that's a good point. All right. Let's pivot over to your book. We've got just a couple minutes left. So this is a book series. What is the series called?
It's called the Killer Series.
The Killer Series, okay. And the latest book is called Killer with Ice Eyes. How many, or which book in the series is this? What number?
This is book number 4. It's the final book in the series.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we start with Killer with a Heart, Killer with 3 Heads. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Killer with Black Blood, which is what I think we were talking about the last time we was on. And that was like last year when that one came out. And now Killer with Ice Eyes.
All right. Can you give us a 1-minute synopsis of the series generally?
Yes. The series is about 2 guys who start off as teenagers. One is the son of a mafia, and the other one is a gang leader in the South Bronx. This takes place or starts off in New York and in the 1970s. And so these 2 guys, they get together, they find out that they are 2 peas in a pod, mostly related to criminal activity. And so they begin this journey to become the world international crime figures. And so it's their arc as they go up and up in the crime family. The one guy wants to become the godfather of his crime family, and the other guy just wants to be a powerful crime lord. And so they meld together and they create this criminal enterprise.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds very interesting. Actually, sounds like it would make a great TV series.
I'm trying.
You're trying? Okay. Sounds good. All right, James. Well, we're going to wind this down. Thanks so much for coming back on the show. Give out your website, please.
Okay. You can go to RockHillPublishing.com. That's where you can find me and all my other authors, all 10 of us. We have 20 books that are out there for your pleasure, your reading pleasure. So that's where you can find me most easily. Of course, I got Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff. You can search for me and you'll find me.
From your website, if somebody has a book that they want to submit, can they do that through there?
Yes. Right now, the submission page is closed, so you won't be able to find it. But come January or so, we'll probably be opening back up the submission. We try to do between 2 and 4 books a year. So look for January, February time frame to see when the submissions open up. And when they open up, you'll know. It'll be big and bright on the website.
How many submissions do you normally get in a year?
Dozen or so.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, James. Well, nice seeing you again, and best of luck. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. All that's coming up real soon.
Oh yeah, yep. And we're gonna be doing some stuff for Christmas. So look me up. Keep look for RockHill Publishing or JL Hill on Facebook, and check into us. Christmas is coming. We'll have some good deals for Christmas. Books are great presents.
They sure are. All right. Take care, James.
All right, thanks.